2009, in the spring, my husband came and told me that he was going to be going to Afghanistan. And at first I was like, oh, I can't believe he's leaving, what am I going to do? I have 2 teenage daughters, one in college, one in her last year of high school. He's going to miss all their senior moments. And also, his mom is alone now. His dad had passed away, so he was leaving me with his mom. I thought, how am I going to ever handle all of this? It actually turned out to be quite a blessing. I found I had time on my hands that I didn't have before. I was able to start doing a lot more reading and soul searching on my own. And there's a lot of synchronicities that happen, so I'm going to line up the synchronicities for you because it kind of led me to this point. I was up in Franconia with the girls, and I was showing them how using a crystal on a string as a pendulum, you can pick up the energies of other crystals. And in that same day, I got an email from my Reiki master who taught me Reiki 12 years ago, and I hadn't heard from her in years. She had moved up to northern Maine. He emails me this information that she was going to bring in Raymond Grace, who's a nationally known dowser, and doing advanced dowsing with pendulums. And I just got chills because I was normally not playing around with a pendulum, and here I am getting a message like right immediately after. So I knew I had to go. So I went on this and spent a nice week up there with her, and we were reminiscing. And I had gifts that God's given me in life, and I wanted to somehow pull them together. I'd been working in a corporate job for 20 years, and I was finding myself getting sick and burnt out, and I did a really good job at that at the time, but I knew that I needed to do something else in my life. So I was telling her all this, and I just put it out to the universe to show me something to bring this together. And went back home, started looking online, and I ended up finding this mandala process that Judith Cornell taught at Holos University, and I just devoured the books and devoured the process. Mandala means sacred circle, and it is representing wholeness and oneness with yourself and with the universe. I get a newsletter in February, and it stated that in December, and that February would be the last training session that Judith would be giving. And I really, really wanted to go. So I emailed the website and asked if there were going to be any other way to get certified. And within 45 minutes, Judith herself called me back on my cell phone, and we had a really nice talk about what the process was and the training. And I just knew, listening to her, that I had to go to that. I went off to California and spent the week there, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, it was up on top of a mountain in Watsonville, Northern California, in a redwood forest. Well, during the week, we did things like we'd wake up and have yoga. We ate vegetarian all week. We were in silence. We did mandalas during the week. I got such a gift that it blew me away. One morning we were doing yoga in the morning, and I had been suffering. Like I said, I was starting to get sick at work. One of the things that they found out is I bottomed out on vitamin D. I was never seeing the light of day anymore, and I really needed to get that back. When we were doing yoga, the sun had been coming up, and it was just starting to come through the window, and a rainbow came around the sun and was just shining bright into my eyes, except it was shaped like a heart. And it was like saying, I love you, you're fine, and you're doing the right thing. And I just knew. I mean, that was the most powerful. There was many moments during that week that I just felt like the divine was speaking to me about where my journey was supposed to go. But that one was the most profound for me. So I came home, and I actually had a 4-year plan to work my way out of the corporate job, but I knew I couldn't wait for 4 more years. I had to make these steps now. So I took the leap, and this year I decided to go out on my own and do my work and bring it out to a greater audience. So I am calling myself a shamanic artist these days, and the reason why I've come to that is that I've found that doing my art, I want it to be able to heal. And through doing shamanic art, all of the art that we do is for healing the body and the spirit. I came to this about a year and a half ago. I've been doing art my whole life, and I learned Reiki about 12 years ago. ago, I started to take some time to really try and pull both the artist and the Reiki energy together to try and find where I wanted to take this work. The mandala itself is really about finding your own inner light. It's about the process takes you through a guided meditation and has you become more centered and self-aware and conscious of your spirit. The mandala is actually part of the meditation, so after you come out of the meditation, what the symbols and the light that's brought to you during that, you put out on paper. And some people get intimidated by the art of it, but it's really not about creating a piece of art. It's about the process of putting your light on paper and showing that. People can use stencils, people can do freehand. It's really whatever it takes you to get it out onto paper. And the techniques that we use are very simple. It's with paper and colored pencils. There's other practices that we can do with the mandala, but that's the most simplest one to really bring out the light. I spent a week in February in a week-long retreat with 30 other women in a circle, and it was a silent retreat, so we didn't talk to each other. But the power and the energy in that room, you learn to know each other, but at a much deeper level. And I think it was through the mandalas and seeing other people's works throughout the week and just being in the presence of them and the energy. It started out with 3 solid days of no talking at all. Just the facilitators would be talking in the room. And then the majority of the rest of the week was silent too. We did have some breakout sessions where we would be sharing, our experiences, or maybe we might have a lunch where we were speaking with Judith. I may call her Rajita because that was her Hindu name. We were able to sit with her in smaller groups to be able to learn more from her on a personal level, which was remarkable. It's interesting because sometimes your mind might be racing, but generally it's really more about the moment. You find yourself becoming aware of each and everything that's happened to you right at that moment, and all the other things that usually go through your mind aren't just swishing around up there anymore. Like there are certain times during the process where the meditation may be taken to you where you might be going in the future. What do you envision that to be? And I know for myself, at times when I've tried to do that at home without coming to a place of peace and centeredness, your mind just goes crazy with all these different things you could do, and you never make up your mind and don't go anywhere. But when you're more centered and more calm and at peace, things come into focus better, and things that should be, you become more aware of, and it's like aha moments come to you. And to think if everybody were to be able to sit down and just draw a mandala all at the same time, the energy that would be raised on this earth and the connection that would be made would be immense.